trying to open up some light into the clearing. This clearing I made in 1975 or 76, and the trees that were on the perimeter were 60 feet tall about, and now they're 135. You just don't get any light in the winter, so what I'd like to do is take down the taller trees so that the smaller trees that are 60 feet again have a chance to grow bigger, and I get more light in the winter in the clearing. And also it'll open up the view of this snag again, which is pretty terrific. You can't even see it anymore the way the trees have grown around it. It used to be one of the dominant features.
Oh yeah, beautiful little snag.
Yeah, I want to use this Koller Felling Wedge.
Let's see.
It's a mechanical Koller Felling Wedge. And what's really cool about it is this will exert 40,000 pounds of pressure. And it'll do it without vibration. When you're driving wedges in, it's vibrating the tree, and dead limbs can fall off on you. And so no vibration, plus it's got more lift. Yeah, this will be really interesting to use this Koller wedge today. I think it's going to be a great tool to have. Another advantage about this is it's less than 8 pounds.
So what's the first tree you're going to cut?
So the first tree is this tree here. It's probably around 135 feet tall. I want to fall it right down the property line. And that'll open up this avenue here to take out the bigger trees right through here. The trouble here is that it may get hung up in this smaller tree here. And so because of that, I'm going to put a cable in it at about 40 feet up.
Yeah.
So I'll climb it and just stick a cable and use a cable and a winch. I put a cable on it just to make sure we get it down.
Good thing you brought your saw with you.
Good thing we got that. A lot easier carrying the chainsaw up. So we've got the cable and the chain set up around, I guess, 40 feet. So that should be enough leverage for pulling the tree.
Well, I know when you first got that climbing gear, I thought I was going to climb.
Yeah, we were going to train you to climb.
I know, wasn't that a great idea?
Boy. Yeah,
I think I like the easy job.
I like that idea, you climbing and me watching. Once I climbed the tree to put the cable in, I was looking at the trees that are up at that height, and falling this way, it definitely was going to get hung up. There's just too many branches from big spruce and redwood down that way. So I'm going to go the opposite way.
Okay.
And we're set up for falling in that direction.
Yeah.
Exactly opposite. And so first I'm going to clean up around the tree. The bark's really thick here at the base. And so the notch will go on this side and probably go in about a third. So it looks to me like probably the tree is about right around a 30-inch diameter, so about 10 inches in. The hinge I'll leave at 10%, and that'll be about 3 inches. And then the back cut will go about 2 inches above the notch, which will be a Humboldt notch, and it'll be about 2 inches above that, so that when the tree falls, it locks in and pushes against that notch, and it can't shoot back, because normally they don't, but if it hits another tree or something, it can disrupt its falling, and then it could raise up and shoot back at you. Normally I don't use a rope to determine the exact direction of the fall, but I really need to get this within a really narrow window of where I want it to fall. And so I need it really precise, so I'll go ahead and use a rope to get marks on the tree.
So tell us a little bit about what you're doing there.
About the middle of where it starts making contact with the tree, where it looks like it'll fall, I'm able to determine where to cut into. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a Humboldt notch. They developed it a lot for not ruining so much lumber when they cut it. Be straight across. If it's bowed in the center at all, when the tree's falling, it'll throw the tree off. So now I'll mark out where I want to come out with this fall. So I'm going to try to come out about something like that for the hinge, my back cut.
Wrapped up against the mosquitoes.
Right now I'm cutting a little notch in the back so I can get my Koller felling wedge in. What I'll do as I make my cut with my big saw, I'll take plastic wedges and just stick them in to hold the tree in place. Yeah, that's good. And then it's got to go perpendicular to your your back cut.
I guess you didn't get to try the mechanical felling wedge this time.
I didn't get to try it on this one.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It fell exactly where you wanted to.
It was probably pressure I put on it with the cable. That's how you want that to look.
Yeah.
I'll cut the notch on this one shallower, maybe 30% or less, just because I want to have plenty of room for the Koller felling wedge. So this looks like it's about maybe 27 inches. So maybe 8 inches. 2 inches up, leave about a 3-inch hinge.
So this is a tree that's got a heck of a lot of branches intertwined in other trees.
That's going to be what's tough about it,
Yeah.
to get it to actually go.
Yes.
This thing has an incredible amount of force. This Koller wedge is just amazing. Okay, let's move. Perfect. I left the hinge a little wider on this side because I wanted to make sure that I did not hang up and hit this tree right here. I'm gonna try it. See if I can get it.
Yeah. Without any cable.
Yeah. Normally I wouldn't do that with a tree that has branches like that together.
You mean that it's woven in with the next tree?
Yeah. If I don't, then I'll just simply, I'll put a cable on this one,
Yeah.
follow it, pull it, and they'll both go.
Yeah. Put a cable on the back one.
Yeah.
But I can tell you're amazed.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
The amount of lift it has is just phenomenal. Well, in this direction, it's where I'll cut is it's a 2-foot diameter tree, and in this direction, it's about 27 inches. This tree probably has a slight amount of lean back, so it's going to want to go the opposite way of the way I'm going to cut it. So I'll have to lift it out of there. Okay, perfect.
So you've cut a little notch, you know, kind of well in advance of actually falling the tree.
Yeah, you want to have it go at least into the wood on the third row of holes. Well, it's moving. Yeah, it's going.
It's going.
So that means just pulling away up there. See if we
Yeah.
can get it pulled away enough.
So you wound it out and you're resetting it back in further.
So yeah, we got the first tree down. It wasn't locked in with branches so bad, and the Koller wedge knocked it over.
Without a
Lifted
bother.
it, did a great job. This one, the limbs are just too locked together, just couldn't get it. So the backup plan was to get this back tree and
tree
take them
here.
both at once.
Okay.
It's got a little bit of lean back, opposite way from the direction I'm going, which is not a problem. We've got a cable on it, and we'll use the Koller wedge, and it should work great. Okay, that should do it. Okay, we've straightened it up now. It's about straight.
You let me know if you want me to work the cable.
I'm just going to tighten it up. Okay, we got lean now. Okay, I'm going to reset the wedge. That's one of the really nice advantages of this. You can set it twice. The table wasn't very high. I was only up at the most 20 feet. You don't get much leverage, so it took the Koller wedge too, or I wouldn't have been able to get it.
What do you think about this felling wedge? How has it been for you?
This Koller Mechanical Felling Wedge ended up being a really useful tool. It's got a number of advantages that came in great. First of all, it's a little under 8 pounds, so it's easy to carry around. The next thing is that it doesn't have any vibration when you're lifting the tree on the back cut to fall it, and you get 40,000 pounds of lift force. So when you have the wedges that you're driving in, it vibrates the tree and dead branches can drop down on you. Whereas with this, you are getting all that lifting force and no vibration on the tree. So yeah, it ended up being a great tool to have. So I'll always carry this along with me when I'm felling trees in here. Well, right after felling this tree, it was really windy the next couple days, 60 or 70 mile-an-hour winds. I was going to have to try to pull this tree that I'm standing on down with my winch, and that would have been pretty difficult to pull off. What happened is, because of those high winds, the forces on the smaller tree that it was hung up on kept working it, and amazing, because it's not that small a tree. The one I'm standing on is at least 100 feet. The one that was hung up on is probably about 60 feet and an 18-inch diameter at the base, and you can see the root ball is quite large. Well, with the high winds working on this big tree and all the weight, it just uprooted, totally unanticipated by me. It gets really complicated in a forest like this, all the things that can happen, and so it just shows you you can't anticipate everything, and so you really have to be careful. What had happened is the tree that we're standing on, it had to fall the tree that was in front of it. It wouldn't let loose with the branches, and so with the two falling together, it forced the tree I'm on over further towards the tree that it hung up on. It would have missed it, but having that little more complex situation of falling, it got hung up because it was forced to the side when they were both falling.
Wow, look at this.
Well, it's really nice to have this opened up now. Before, you just couldn't see it any longer. This incredible snag. It's 19 foot in diameter and 100 feet tall about. I used to think it was about 85, but after falling this first tree that was felled, it measured 125 feet. So, and it was no more than 25 feet higher than the snag. So the snag's 100 feet tall.
Incredible.
And quite a testament to this old growth tree. What a monument to have left. And it was kind of a shame not to be able to see it anymore. 35 years ago, this was open. The trees were only 60 feet tall. Trees that are 125 feet tall, it really obscured the view. So now you can really look in and see this incredible, really cathedral.
So you have like a glade out here with little dwellings in it.
Yes, that's the original clearing I made in 1976 and started building immediately. So I have like 6 buildings overall on the property that are redwood that have to be maintained. And about every 20-25 years, the decks, some of the siding has to be replaced because it deteriorates. And so when I cut these trees down that really are blocking out all of the light now in the winter, it just gives me a way to manage the forest in here, leave the smaller trees, let them continue growing, and use the taller trees that I want down so I get more light, and use them to maintain all of the buildings.
And meanwhile, this majestic sculpture overlooks everything.
It does, and it's probably 3,500 years old is my guess. When I had the forester in here, I asked him what he thought because I was a bit nervous about it. I wondered if it was safe because it moves about 5 feet in high winds. There's two separate sides that go up and they move around on each other, and it creaks, and it's quite amazing, actually.
I mean, it's a hollowed out tree that stands 100 feet in the air.
Yes. So anyway, I asked him what he thought about it, and he said, well, I don't know, but I take a guess for you. He said, I'll bet it was hit by lightning at like 1,500 years ago.
Wow.
And so he said, I don't think I'd worry about it for another 600 or 700 years about falling down or anything.
Wow.
And but what that means is on the back side of this, there's a big strip of bark that goes up, and branches all the way up to the top of this are growing out to the side of the snag. So quite possibly it's 3,500 years old.
It's been living for that long.
Yeah, because a 19-foot diameter tree would be at least 2,000 years old when it got hit by lightning. The first question I ask is this on this property? And it so happens that the property line goes just across the outside edge of the snag, so it is on this property, and that's when I decided I've got to have this property.
Well, you're a caretaker.
Yeah, caretaker of the property.
Yeah, excellent. Beautiful.